We're coming to you live from Mumbai on the Tata Sierra launch. To talk more about this launch, what it means for Tata Motors and the industry, I'm now being joined by Sailesh Chandra. He's the Managing Director and CEO of Tata Motors Passenger Vehicle. Mr. Chandra, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for joining in. It's a key launch, to say the least. You know, price, and let me start off with the most important factor of pricing. 11.49 lakhs is what you introduced in. Tell us a little bit about the rationale as how do you see the mid-size SUV space? It is dominated by a couple of names, but you've really come through with such a significant launch. Talk us through what is the rationale of that.
No, see, one that we were launching an iconic car, right? Sierra was very iconic. It was ahead of its time when 35 years back it was launched. And we thought that it was a big responsibility that we were taking of bringing the legend back, completely reimagined for a whole new generation. So therefore, we had to create a car which had the resemblance and DNA of the OG Sierra. But at the same time, it should be modern plus, which means it should be future facing, because that is what the original spirit of Sierra was also, where it came with features which nobody even imagined in those days. So therefore, we conceived this product, one, definitely in the mid-size SUV, because that was a popular segment growing very fast, and it had grown big in size. Nearly 45,000 cars get sold in a month. So we said this is right spot for bringing Sierra back. Dimension-wise also, broadly, Sierra was around this kind of a dimension only. So we conceptualized that the silhouette should be taken forward from the OG Sierra reimagined in the modern avatar, but inside should be a living room kind of a space. And you have seen whether the tech stack or choice of color, fabric, material, all have been chosen in a manner. The seating space, the leg room or knee room or shoulder room, the spaciousness that you see, and the biggest sunroof that you have seen in this segment, all shows that this is premium in the mid SUV segment. Coming to the price, we said that why can't we give best of the best, right? Where I give a footprint of a mid-size SUV as a car, but I give the indulgence of a high SUV and price it very close to the mid SUV. And you have seen that today when we were making the presentation, we said that the base model itself comes with host of features, because if you are going for a premium SUV, then every customer who buys whether a base model or a high model starts with hygiene set of features. Therefore, we went for an aggressive price so that we can popularize it more. More customers are able to access it and fulfill. So, some of them will fulfill the dreams of the childhood, but the young generation, which is Gen Y and Gen Z, will find this, ever cool kind of a body style, but at the same time, very digitized, very tech forward. So I think it will appeal to everyone, and we wanted to keep the price also accessible.
Well, we are of course standing next to the green color, and that's been one of the most sought after in terms of launches. Talk to us. How do you see someone who's coming to buy a Sierra? Is it largely on the nostalgia factor? Is it largely on pricing? Because you've put a lot of features in it. What is the differentiator for you in this particular space?
See, as I said, the nostalgia bit is a smaller population. The bigger population, because 65% of the car buyers today are less than 35 years age. They would not have seen the OG Sierra. So OG Sierra DNA we are taking forward, because I said that it is an everlasting, timeless design, which is relevant across the time period, decades or a century. This style works. You have to only modernize it to the likes of the new generation liking, right? Why it is different? First, because the design is distinct. Keep the 10 mid-size SUV of all the brands and you will be able to pick this is different. This is what I like. It gives, expression to a young generation customer who like to be distinct, who want to be differentiated, who want to be expressive. That is the biggest differentiator of this car. Plus, the whole package of feature. I mean, as I said, indulgence of a high SUV. It's a package of, for those people who are, many a times, you live in a big city. You have a parking lot limitation, that your parking lot is of this size, but you have ability to purchase something which is more expensive. It is also for those customers who want to indulge, they want the sense of upgrade, but with an optimized footprint which is good for their use case. It is good for congested cities. It is good for even tier 2, tier 3 towns, which are where the roads are congested and all. So it's a very distinct segment, of customers who will go for it. It appeals to wider set of customer segment because there is a bit of nostalgia of Gen X,
Yeah.
but there is this coolness and modernity what Gen Y and Gen Z like.
Yeah. When we talk about the iconic color, and at the launch you can see, of course, the bright yellow, to say the least. How do you view essentially the compact SUV space and the mid-size SUV space? Because what we are seeing, that even in compact, people are going for the premium features, and that will compete with the base variant of something like a Sierra. You also have multiple models there, like the Nexon, the Punch, amongst others. How do you see that benefit coming to Sierra, or do you expect that it will be dependent on what person wants and what he really needs in his purchase?
Absolutely, you have kind of answered the question, because some people want to access the size, some people want to access a compelling design. They say there is nothing of this kind, I want this car. So they will go for this car. Some people are practical, who want a car but they want something which is fully loaded. And whatever suits within their budget, they make that kind of a choice. Always in the adjacent segment, there will be a bit of overlap because when you start as a customer, you are not even knowing what is compact SUV or a mid SUV. You have a budget and you see cars around that price. And then depending on your liking, as I said, somebody would like that I want to now go for a bigger looking car. Somebody will say, I want a compact car but fully loaded. I want all the features, I want to access all the features. So it will depend on customer to customer.
We also see that you will be launching this in EV also very quickly. Give us some perspective of what you've learned from the Harrier launch, because while it is at a premium price point, there is the ICE and EV. Do you see two separate set of customers coming in there? And
Absolutely
do you see that
separate, because see, that is the reason why Harrier, when we launched Harrier EV, not only did it expand the volume, but it also had the influence on ICE also.
Yeah.
Because more footfall, more awareness of the brand, and Harrier EV customer is looking for something very different. It's a very performance-oriented customer. It is customers who want to experiment with new features, which you are getting for the first time. So these are very different customers, but at the same time, many customers were on the fence of moving to EV, but they were not, because, say, they were not getting sufficient range from a comfort perspective. They were not very sure about what happens to the battery. So when you gave unlimited warranty on battery, when you gave a 500 kilometer plus car real range, when you gave high charging speeds, when you gave price parity, all of a sudden the whole segment unleashes itself. That has been the biggest learning, and I think that will be the journey for us to bring that kind of a combination in all the segments, including the entry. So that would be the idea, and Sierra will be, when it comes in its EV avatar, I think it will be a very promising offering in the market.
We'll also, of course, be watching at what is the price of the higher end variant as well, because that will, of course, compete with the lower end at Harrier EV. My final question, largely what we have seen, that you already committed to 7 launches by FY30. This is, of course, first of many. How should the buyer as well as look at the future launches from Tata? It's also because we've seen the GST rate cut happen. And one of the perspectives that you gave us, that a lot of people maintained their budget, went actually and bought the upper variant model. Do you expect that a similar feature will happen, and how does that impact, GST rate cut impact your future launches? Are the compact ones coming a little quicker than what you had anticipated them to?
No, see, there is a transitionary behavior that also one would have seen in GST cut, because pre-GST you were already looking for a car. You had certain budget in mind, say 10 lakh, or say, let's say, for example, 8 lakh.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you heard that 10% prices have gone down. Oh, that's the case. I have the same money. Let me go for a higher feature-rich car, or let me go for the next segment higher car. Now I can actually afford. It's a transient behavior. But generally, a lot of buyers now, GST has unleashed the ability of buyers to go for more feature-rich car and a higher segment car. So I would say broadly GST what it is, it just boosted the sentiment, which was a bit wobbly, you know, for the last 1.5 years. So I think that going forward, you will see the effect in all the segments. It is slightly more pronounced that you see in the compact SUV segment and subcompact SUV segment. Even the mid-size SUV segment is also doing well. The other factor which really boosts a particular segment or the industry are some good launches. You know, many a times you don't think of buying a car, but all of a sudden something new comes and it just says, now I have to buy, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So a lot of new launches which will happen in the industry will also boost the demand. I think Sierra should therefore expand the mid SUV segment in my view, and therefore let's hope for the best that the industry sees sustained positive consumer sentiment as we have seen the post GST 2.0.
You mentioned that post the con call in Q2 results, you mentioned that H2 momentum should continue. You've also had a launch now, and the interest that you've seen across. So there would be an expectation that what we saw a slump last year wouldn't happen, and H2 will actually be quite strong this year?
I'm just basing on the early signs.
Early signs.
Otherwise, I don't have a crystal ball to gaze and see what is going to happen in future. But I just see the trend that in September, despite only you had 8 days, post the GST and implementation of 2.0 on 22nd September, the industry grew by 5%. In October, we saw 17%. Hopefully, November might also see double-digit growth. So 3 months, trend is showing that generally the demand is up from what it was last year. So basis that only I said that there is a possibility that it can be double-digit growth in the second half. And at an overall year level, because you had a decline in the first half of nearly 1.5%, so it might come around 5%.
Well, Mr. Chandra, thank you so much for speaking to us at NDTV Profit. Many congratulations on Sierra, but watch out for all 6 colors. It's an interesting one to say the least. But stay tuned to NDTV Profit for more.